I was re-listening to our last episode just to go through it in my mind and stuff, and I'm like, yo, you lived in Massachusetts, you lived in New York, you lived in Arizona, you lived in Florida, you lived in uh an RV, and that's where you were living before. Like right after we finished the podcast, you started
Right
living in an
after
RV.
that, we finished the podcast. I wound up going to New Hampshire off the grid
Okay.
in an RV, and with this Corona shit, right? And the type of people I deal with, and the stuff that I'd be looking up on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
my brain got full of fear, and it's not. I guess I was like prepping, and I was getting prepared prepared for whatever would come, which I would feel like maybe a civil war, martial law. That's really what I thought we're on our way to. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is how the system works. Right now, I'm just totally confused. Nothing even happened yet. I'm already beat up. I'm already at a point like, fuck it, should I take the vaccine? Like, I mean, these are the things that run through my mind. And it's a tough time, and it's hard to really get a clear picture on what's going on and what the motive is, and do they want us all in our house?
You don't know who to trust.
I can't trust any information that I'm getting from both sides. It's all inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is we're never going to know until it's too late. So while I was like off the grid, you want to hear something crazy, man? So there's been times in my life where I'm an obsessive person, right?
Okay.
So obviously graffiti has been my hugest obsession from a child, right? That I could never shake or never left me. But it happened in other ways. It happened with drugs and alcohol to me, obsessing over drugs and alcohol. Then I put that down, right? And I started obsessing over material goods. So, getting the things I never got. So that would be for me like a Rolex, Gucci, like a lavish lifestyle, which I was able to obtain. And once I obtained it, I got severely, severely depressed, and I realized that material goods don't mean anything. So, being my unpredictable personality, once I realized that a Rolex meant nothing and the Lexus meant nothing, then I bought an RV and I went off the grid, and I went to the Pocono Mountains, and I started to see how minimal I could live.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say minimal, I mean I'm talking about not using a refrigerator, finding out what foods could stay fresh without refrigeration. It's like you don't have to refrigerate eggs. You don't have to refrigerate butter. There's certain things that I've learned that you didn't. So also like my water consumption. Like most people think you think we use all this water all the time. Bro, when it comes down to it, and you have, say, water for cooking, say you're making ramen soup, that's very little water, right? So if you get a couple of gallons of water, that could last you the week. You know what I mean? So then I had, like, it's called gray water, like water that was, like, from a faucet, say, whatever, that I used to wash my hands.
Okay.
Now, even if you wash your hands 30 times a day, right, and you put soap in your hand and you trickle the water, you don't need that much water.
Mm-hmm.
Your hands get very clean. It's the same thing. When you go to brush your teeth, you wet the toothbrush. You put the toothpaste on. You need very little. So I started to realize what I really needed to live, right?
Yeah.
And yes, some things are luxuries, but I was able to adapt very quickly to that situation. So since we're talking about the obsession, so I got obsessed with material goods. Then I went off the grid. So then it went the opposite. Then it was like, I got obsessed with how little I need, right? And so what happened was, talking about living in fear, is that I had a table in my RV like this, right? I said, I need food storage, but RV is very small. So I was like, yo, if I was watching this guy called the Canadian Prepper, right? He's an interesting dude. He teaches you how to survive, the things you're going to need to survive, right? So I'm watching this dude, right, telling me what I need to survive, and he's like, everything you don't need, get rid of it. So I'm looking at this fucking table, right? And I'm like, yo, I don't need that shit. No one ever sits in that bench. I don't need that bench. I got up and I started demoing. I ripped it out right there, right?
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to fucking build a table out of big bags of rice. So I was going to stack those big bags of rice and make that my table, right? So the funny thing is that, you know, it was so ridiculous. I did make the room and like for it, but I never even got around to like getting the bags of rice. I heard somebody talk, and they were talking, right? And they were talking about like, yo, I'm living in fear. And then I was like, fuck, that's exactly what the fuck I'm doing. I'm out here, I'm living in fucking fear, man. I'm full of fear. So I made a phone call. I called my boy Keo, Keo X-Men, right? Yeah. He's like my spiritual advisor, right? So I call him. I'm like, yo, man, I'm obsessed with fucking rice and water. He goes to me, Charlie, how many bags of rice are going to make you happy? I said, bro, after I knocked down the table and went to build the rice table, I was still thinking of more storage for more rice. He was like, no amount of rice is going to make you happy, bro. And I was like, damn. It's the same thing with like material goods, money, sex, whatever it is. That stuff is not going to make you happy. Happiness comes from within. And you know, Keo told me, bro, you know what? People were living without electricity and bags of rice only for the 100 years. This is like new, the way we're living. But people survive just fine without all that shit. So he's like, you know, the bottom line is you're going to survive and you're going to be fine if something happens. And if you don't, you just die, and that's it. And helped me come to reality a little bit. And I moved back to civilization. And, you know, I was trying to set up for my girl and her kid a safe place in the middle of nowhere that we would have a spot, like it's called the bug out spot. But
like for when the martial law and all that
martial law comes and all that, yeah. So I was prepared on every level for that. I'm still
because you had like a machine gun and shit, right?
I mean,
I saw in that video into the woods. You were like,
I mean, there was a I was in New Hampshire, and I was surrounded. The people that I was friends with, they're like good old boys, and not on no races, none like that, but people that collect guns. They love guns, and they love crossbows, and they love ice fishing, shit like that. So I was surrounded by people that had those things. So yeah.
Yo, it's funny. I can definitely relate to what you were saying about like gathering all those goods, because when this shit hit the fan, I was thinking the same thing. Like, yo, civil war's coming, martial law's coming. Like, it's gonna get real out here. Like, people's routines are gonna go out the window. Like, we're gonna resort to our fucking animal instincts. So I like went out and I bought like rice and bean packets that like don't expire for 25 years. I bought like black bean burger mixes. I bought like a bunch of oatmeal boxes. And the thing with that shit, like what you said, it like hit me, because the more I bought it, the more I thought I needed. You know what I mean? I thought like it wasn't enough, and then I started getting like a go bag, like a tactical book bag, and I had like mad shit in it. Yo, I had like campfire.
A go bag meaning like it's just a bag you grab like, to go, and like
it's called the bug out bag. That's what you that should have all your survival shit in it.
It sits right there, and like if a fucking thing happens within a moment's notice, you grab that shit and you're out. But I noticed like I bought like campfire heat tents, like little like string tents, like mad shit, and like the more I researched, I was like, oh, I'm missing that, I'm missing that, I'm missing that, and I'm like, I need that, I need that, I need that too, and I'm like, fuck, I need weapons, I need this,
you end up with a house.
Bro.
Yeah,